Have they finally cracked the code of weight loss after more than 40 years of research? There's now two new amazing, revolutionary new peer-reviewed human trials that are going to change everything that the researchers thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition. One was published in the Nutrition Journal and the other one published in the Obesity Journal, one of the most prestigious journals in the entire world. The studies startled, shocked, stunned the researchers. Men and women, 80% women, 20% men, no one even allowed to exercise. And they lost weight in 30 days that took 12 months on any diet. In addition to that, which is not typical of a diet, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise allowed. Now, the reason they didn't exercise was because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. But listen to this. In 8 weeks, they reduced visceral fat by 33% while increasing lean muscle 6 to 9%. They also lowered blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides in just 30 days. These results have never been seen before. Hello, my name is Peter Greenlaw. I've started the new health conversation movement, which I think we sorely need. It's devoted to one thing, and that's to bring you the absolute truth, not this, diet stuff we're hearing with no evidence behind it, by the way, just so you understand, okay? The actual diet protocols themselves have never commissioned on their own a peer-reviewed human trial. That's as high as you can go in medicine. What happens with a peer-reviewed human trial is you submit your data to something like Nutrition Journal, Obesity Journal, and they decide if they're going to review it. They don't do the review. They send it out to other world-class experts whose job is to discredit what you're trying to prove. Once you have a peer-reviewed human trial, it's bulletproof. Why those companies won't do it, I am suspicious that it would expose what's really going on. I'm going to give you an example right now. So here's the New England Journal of Medicine, probably the most prestigious medical journal in the entire world. So they did an analysis, nothing to do with the diet plans or programs or schemes, as I call them themselves. In this particular study, and maybe you can read it, it was based on calorie restriction versus just lowering calories, okay? In the study, they said, this is what's amazing. Now, this is in 12 months, okay? Now, so they took intermittent fasting, which you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat for 8, and just had people just lower calories at 2 groups, right? The mean weight loss from baseline, meaning from day 1 until 12 months, as far as caloric reduction, was about 16.5 pounds, where the time-restricted eating was about 13 pounds. So this whole buzz around time-restricted eating, it's not even as good as just lowering calories, which you've known about forever. See, there's all these gimmicks. What they keep doing, they just keep rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I don't care if it's Mediterranean, it's paleo, it's Atkins, it's blood type, zone type, the Cornish diet, whatever it is. The results are absolutely pitiful compared to these 2 new peer-reviewed studies where the people on average, men and women, they lost 16 pounds in a month and gained lean muscle mass. But what about the other medical benefits? Lowered blood pressure, and blood sugar, and cholesterol, and triglycerides, and that 33% reduction in visceral fat. So yes, they finally cracked the code after 40 years of research. And in the interviews that were done with particularly Dr. Paul Arciero, that's arguably regarded as the world's top nutritional researcher for nearly 40 years, he said that based on this data, they could never recommend a traditional diet again. They've analyzed them all over the course of 40 years. They said they've never, ever seen a result like this. Because in the studies, they've always done urine, stool, and blood analysis through all the diets. They've never seen numbers like that. But let me read further from the New England Journal of Medicine, just so you don't think I'm making anything up, okay? Buried back in the study, you have to look at it. Both the time-restricted eating and the daily calorie restriction diets led to the loss of lean muscle. Well, that's not a shock because every diet study that I've seen, they say the primary weight loss has come from lean muscle. Look, the new shots, and I'm not against them, so don't read into that, all right? But the New England Journal of Medicine, the same prestigious body, did a 68-week study on the shots. And they found in 68 weeks, people lost 36 pounds. And they said, this is really good. But They said, New England Journal of Medicine again said the majority of the weight loss was lean muscle. Do you know that there were people on this protocol, that these new peer-reviewed studies, remember the average was 16 pounds. Well, there were people that lost a pound a day. There were people that in 2 months lost, nearly 70, 80 pounds. And if it's always the wrong kind of weight loss, don't you want to maybe take a breath and say, wait a minute, maybe this isn't such a great idea. But that's up to you. So here's what you can do. If you want, only if you want, you can go to the link below, go to the website, see these 2 new peer-reviewed studies, see the results, see before and afters. And if it looks interesting to you, you can schedule a free, let me emphasize, free consultation. No tricks, no sales funnels, no any of that junk. We don't need to do that. We now have, for the first time in my experience of over 20 years of research, we've got the first clinical evidence that this is the breakthrough. Look, I can tell you this about me. I lost 40 pounds 20 years ago. I've kept it off for 20 years. I went from a 42 to 34-inch waist in 18 days. I'm still a 34-inch waist. So the key here is to crack the code for long-term successful weight loss that's not unhealthy. When you lose lean muscle, here's why you gain all the weight back. Because when you lose lean muscle, the body has to do what? Slow down on metabolism. You slow down metabolism, you can't burn as many calories. That's why you plateau, or that's why long-term, if you come off the diet, you gain everything back. So what happened in these studies, people absolutely lost weight initially. Then it basically dropped off to a drip, almost nothing. Because if you did the math, if it's 16 pounds in a year, and you do the math, it's ridiculous. You're losing like ounces a week kind of thing. But they tell you that it's good. So now you have a choice. Now you've hopefully learned something. We encourage you, go to the website, click on the link. If it looks good, schedule a free consultation. And you're not going to get sales hype. You're going to get answers to your questions, okay?